All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. I wanted to go over some of the notes before we did this, so I could do a little bit of a deep dive into this. And so last the this game was tough. It was a tough game for a few reasons, but I'm also really, really excited coming out of this game for the learning opportunities for a few reasons. And so I'll go over the things that were tough at first. And then end with what I'm excited about, what I think we're learning from this. So the tough things were everything about that game, except for one or two stats, um, said we should have won that game. We saw 100 pitches over their two pitchers. Over our two pitchers, we threw 64. We were incredibly efficient. We were incredibly efficient throwing the ball. 64 pitches. We had 54 pitches from our first pitcher. Our second pitcher comes in with the bases loaded on 10 pitches, strikes out the last two batters to give us a chance. Okay. Bases loaded with a 3-2 score, come in, strike out two batters. That's really, really good. And our first pitcher kept us in the game the whole time. Everything about that says we should have won. I mean, we saw 36 more pitches than they saw from us. The other thing in the field, and yeah, there were some things that we could have done differently in the field, made some different decisions in the field. We got to keep working on getting those tags down on throwdowns. I think we should have had one, maybe even two tag outs. We got to make sure that we had some good throws. We got to make sure we get those tags down, that we're not on top of the bag, we're around the bag because we're making it harder on ourselves when we're staying on top of the bag trying to get somebody out on a throwdown. So those are things we still got to continue to work with. Decision making at times, there were a time or two we could have gone home, try to get the lead runner, but we went to first and got the guaranteed out. And most of the time that's going to be okay. Um, uh, you know, there were a few decisions in the field that we could have made differently. Zipping the ball around the infield, things like that. But we played really, really efficient. We played really efficient in the field. We took one time out. I went out and talked to everybody one time during the game, and I just said, "Hey, you know how to play this game. Okay, you know how to play this game. You know how to make the outs. Let's make it happen. Show me you know how to make it happen." And immediately we get an assist and put out after that. The other really, really encouraging thing in the field is um, last night we had four strikeouts. We had five putouts. So we had to get 9 outs on them. For the first time all season, we got more putouts through assists, and that's grounding it back to there was one we grounded back 4 times, grounded back to the pitcher, get it over to the first baseman. Great exchange, great fielding by the pitcher, great exchange from the pitcher to the first baseman for 4 outs. There was one, a line drive catch at short, really, really good catch. For the first time all season, we had more assists and putouts than we did strikeouts. And that's really, really important for learning process. I mean, we played really well in the field. Like I said, we had some opportunities that we could have made different decisions or we could have done different things, but we made um, a lot of really, really good plays. So that's something that's really, really encouraging. That says to me, that's another instance where we should have won the game. Where we did not win the game was our batting. I counted up. Last night we had 4 hits. We just came off a stretch where we were having 6, 7 hits, 8 hits a game. I think last Thursday we had 12 hits in the game. We had 4 last night. We had 11 strikeouts. Last night was the first time over the last 3 or 4 games that we have had more strikeouts than walks. And the first time over the last 3 or 4 games that we haven't had at least as many hits as strikeouts. We had 11 strikeouts. Six, but so you think about we went to bat in 4 innings. They had to get 12 outs on us. They actually recorded 1 out in the field. It was a hard hit ball up the middle for a fielder's choice to end the inning. We had the bases loaded, fielder's choice to end the inning. That happens. That's the way baseball's supposed to happen. They made a good play. They make a good out. 11 of the outs they had to record against us were strikeouts. Now, 5 of those outs were swinging strikeouts, which is good on the pitcher. When we go down swinging, that's just, hey, sometimes we miss the ball. Okay. And on almost all of our swinging strikeouts, um, we fouled off a ball. We worked a count. We either worked it to full count. Sometimes we fouled off multiple times, and then we have a swinging strikeout. That happens. That's good on the pitcher. That's the five. So that's 5 outs. But 6 outs were looking strikeouts. That was the difference last night. 6 outs were looking strikeouts. You think about it, that's 2 full innings that we don't make them make a play on us at all. And one inning we had bases loaded, and we had um, I the last we had the last 2 batters I think had looking strikeouts with bases loaded. We get one of those hits in somewhere, we put the ball in play. Who knows what's going to happen? We allowed them, or we gave them 2 innings worth of outs because we were not swinging on the third strike. Now, within those, we did have fouls. We had fouls earlier in the count. Sometimes we swung at pitches we shouldn't have earlier in the count. But that's going to happen too. Those are mental mistakes or mental errors, and those are happening. On those 6 strikeouts, I didn't see any of those third pitches that I disagreed with. They were all down the middle. They were all balls that we want to hit. And I know as soon as we didn't hit them, we knew we should have hit them. We knew we should have swung at them. We should have offered at them. It wasn't close. Um, and so that was the difference in the game. We put the bat on the ball, or we swing at those 6 strikeouts, and maybe we put the ball in play a time or two out of those. Hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe we swing at those 6 and we end up striking out on all of them. And then it ends up the night where we have 11 strikeouts and we have 11 swinging strikeouts. You know what that's called? That's called good job pitching. You take your hat off and you tip your hat to the pitcher, the pitching staff that they have, because hey, that's a great game. Um, that was the difference. Is the 6 looking strikeouts. Here's why I'm encouraged. That's an anomaly for us. We haven't done that. That was early in the season. We kind of struggled with knowing what's a ball and what's a strike. Now we know. Now, last night I did not give a take signal all night. The last now 4 or 5 games, we really haven't given many take signals. If it's a 3-0 count, I'll give a take signal sometime. Um, but we really haven't done it. The kids are learning when to swing, when not to swing. What's a ball? What's not a ball? What's a strike? What's not a strike? When the ball's close to them, when to turn on it, when to get a hit out of it. They're learning that, and that is really, really good for their learning process. That's really, really good for the maturation of becoming a ball player. Um, Last night was an anomaly. Something happened last night where we just kind of, we were a little slow. We were a little sluggish. We were tentative to swing the bat. And I'm excited that it happened when it did, because that's a good team we played last night. And I mean, make no mistake about it. If the way things are playing out with the season, if we can make it through our first round game in the tournament, we might be seeing this team again. And you can bet they're going to be throwing the same pitchers. They're going to be throwing the same way they did. They were, and we're going to be ready for them, because we have now seen what happens when we are tentative. When we get up as batters, that's our batter's box. That is our batting box. That is our plate. It's not the pitchers. It's not the catchers. That's our batter's box. So, some things we need to work on, and we will, is take your time getting up to bat. We've got music playing. The kids want music playing. So let that music play. Let's not rush up. Let's not rush up and jump in the batter's box right away. Take some practice swings while you're walking up. Think about what you're doing when you're walking up and think about, this is my batter's box. That ball comes in. Here's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to hit it here. I'm going to put it in play. I'm going to make them make a play on me. Um, Between pitches, step out. Look for signals. Don't step into the box until we got the signals. When I clap my hands, that's when we're done. That's when we step in. That's when we get ready to go. And those are all things that we can work on. And I'm really, really encouraged as far as learning the learning process for everybody. And so I think what happened in last night's game, I think was a good wake up call to say, hey, here's what happens when you play when you play a good team, a really good team, and when you're a little tentative doing things. Because everything else we did right. We did things right. Even the decisions we made in the field at times could have been overcome if we're swinging the bat and we're looking at swinging the bat on that third strike. We're not letting a third strike go by. Those are all things that we can work on. And that's why I am encouraged by what happened last night. And I'm really, really excited to play tonight and see what we can do tonight, see what we can do moving forward. Because I think, there are times in the season when I've told the boys a game will get away from you. This was one last night. And no one is ever happy to lose or excited to lose. But I'm excited about the learning from last night because I think the boys saw at a good time in the season. We just, came off of 3 or 4 games where we had won and we were feeling really good about ourselves. And the coach always worries about, if we're uh, how people are feeling and if they're going to keep up the intensity. And inevitably, you usually see a lull. All right. So last night was our lull. Last night was our lull at the plate. I think it happened at a time where we can learn from it. We can move forward with it and see what happens. So I'm really, really encouraged with what we did and the lessons we learned. So yeah, yeah, real quick, we can have one question. I know that was a little bit longer. Yeah. Yeah, at the end or before our last at bat, the question was what did we talk about before the last at bat? I just told the kids, hey, trust yourself. Trust yourself. You're in this. If we get some runs, then we're going back out and we're trying to get 3 outs. Trust yourself, trust the process. We spent a lot of time in last practice talking about the expectations and what our expectations are for the end of the season. And our expectations are the process. And so trust yourself with the process. Part of the process is when you are in the field, you're thinking about what needs to happen before the pitch is thrown so that when the pitch is thrown, you're just ready, you're ready to react. When you go up to bat, the process starts when you put your batting helmet on. And when you walk out to the on deck circle, you're watching the pitcher, you're getting their timing. And then once it's your time to go up, take your time to get up. That's part of the process. Let the music play a little bit. You got about, 7 or 8 seconds to get up there. If the umpire's telling you to hurry, we'll hurry. But think the process is thinking about what you need to do at the plate. Think if that's your batter's box, if that ball comes, I'm putting it in play. Here's where I'm putting it in play. I'm extending the count. I'm going to try to make them make a play on me. And then between pitches, step out, get your sign. Get your sign. Don't step in because when we step in, we are giving up our opportunity to control that at bat. We're giving that to the pitcher. And the pitcher doesn't need that. The pitcher and catcher don't need the opportunity to control our at bat. Those are our at bats. We have the opportunity to take control over those. That's usually the most fun thing for kids during a game. And so since it is, live it up. Take the time to live it up. Um, think about what you're going to do and then think about the process of batting, the process of fielding, the process of working counts, of hitting, of making contact. That's what we're talking about, and that's why it was really really fun. So at the end of the game last night, yeah, I said trust yourself. Let's trust in the process. We talked about that again after the game, what the process is, and we'll continue to talk about that because we got a couple more games left. We got the tournament coming up. So I'm really excited to see where we're going to go from here. I think we learned a lot last night, and we can take everything we learned over the season and everything we learned last night. I think we can finish this out and have some pretty good games coming up. Some pretty tough games coming up for us. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody.